This is the Texas Cornhole Show. I'm Grant Upchurch. This is my co-host, the biggest D himself, Jonathan Zarzinski.
Massive.
So, Jonathan, what we got today? What's going on?
You know, I think we should just start off with the past. Well, you know what? Let's break it up. Let's change it this week. All right? I want to start off just by covering ACL briefly, and then we can move on. All right? So with ACL, we have a couple of Texas people showed up in Rhode Island and did really well. I believe Gavin Cano got third place. He was also playing with Felix Vargas, who's, I believe, is from Texas.
I've played him. He's good.
Is that right?
Yes.
They did really well all the way up in Rhode Island. We had Bella Sopranet, second place women's. Braden Wilson, that kid.
College Station. He's just one of those prodigies that come out there every now and again.
Yeah, he's one of the kids trying to make it to pro, and he's up in Rhode Island trying to get points, and he got some. I think he was fifth. This is all from memory. I'm not 100% certain. And then also we have to make sure everybody knows that the ACL will be in town here in Fort Worth, Dickies Arena. I forgot what it is. They got a Super Bowl going on. They got a Pros versus Joes.
Pros versus Joes, and I'm going to be there. I'm a Joe.
You're a Joe?
I'm a Joe.
You might get teamed up with the Pro?
Hopefully, and I hope they're better than me.
Oh, baby. That's going to be exciting. And then they're also doing the Super Bowl, and one of my favorite Peloton instructors is going to be there, Kendall Toole.
Okay.
Absolute babe. And I can't wait to see how she throws a cornhole bag.
I have no comment.
All right. Well, she's not my type. But she's objectively beautiful. Like, I can't say she's not, you know?
I saw the pictures. They're definitely, yes, good-looking women, and all the wives of the guys playing with them just shouldn't be worried because, come on, they're that level, all right?
Yeah, exactly. They're that level. Like, I can't even imagine me having any kind of, like, romantic encounter with this lady because, number one, I would never even take my shirt off around her, right?
Yeah, okay.
There's just no way. There's no way that would ever happen. But that's going to be in town, and more importantly, Thursday night, which will probably be the night of when this releases, May 11th, there's the shootout blind draw here at AJ's. Bunch of pros registered, come out, have a great time at AJ's, throw with the pro, and then go be a Joe and throw with the pro.
It's going to be fun.
All right. Let's see here. I think that's all I got for ACL. They're in town this week. It's going to be fun. Let's move on to
Hey, make sure things. If you are... Oh, this is going to be broadcasting, but Thursday. You talked about that, right?
What are we talking about?
The little shootout, switch holio we're doing here. There's going to be a lot of pros here, a lot of good talent. If you want to come check it out, but you don't want to go to Dickies Arena for the pros and Joes thing, great opportunity. Yeah,
for sure. AJ's is a very comfortable place to be. There'll be open bar, great taco truck, I believe, is going to be here. It's going to be a really good time. So Thursday night here at AJ's, May 11th, come show up, show out, win a bunch of money with a pro. Or not. You know, honestly, I'd love to see a couple of non-pros take that tournament down.
I would love it too.
It is a switch holio. So, you know.
Anything can happen.
Yeah.
Anyone can play.
Sammy's going to be here, right? The reigning TCL singles champion. But hold on a second. Let's move over to TCL and let's cover the list, right?
The list.
We both predicted who was going to be in the top 10, both singles and doubles. We should admit we made a mistake because we should have done the Scorholio output, which I believe is 12 people, and kept that at the end of a tournament. You know, a couple of people get 5th, a couple of people get 7th. I forget the numbers.
We can adjust it for next time for
4
sure.
people get 9th.
Yeah, 4 people get 9th. That was the biggest deal.
Yeah, and we're doing that again, right?
Yes. We're going to... Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And I hope more people... First of all, I lost. Okay.
We're getting there. We're going to build to that.
All right, go ahead. You know,
no, keep talking. This is great.
Well, listen, I lost singles and doubles. I appreciate all the supporters out there. Team Grant lost.
Yeah, you have to really dig to find anybody who voted Team Jonathan. But they were right, and they're the winners, and they will be receiving gift packages from yours truly. They're at least getting a T-shirt.
They're getting a T-shirt.
They're getting a T-shirt 100% guaranteed. But don't throw that box away after you grab the T-shirt, because I'm putting more stuff in there. You know why? Because there's not that many people that were on Team Jonathan.
You're proud of them.
I'm so proud of them.
And hey, you know, Team Grant, no one let y'all down more than I did. All right? Doubles prove that. No one let down my list more than I did myself. And I'm sorry. Now I know. Don't bet on myself.
Oh, man. Why did it add pressure? It didn't add any pressure.
No added pressure. Just next time I know, drink a couple shots of Fireball and get going quicker. Come on.
There you go. That's what happened. Yeah, so, you know, you never want to doubt a fat guy with a spreadsheet, right?
I didn't doubt you. I mean, I'm not going to lie. When you said that you did yours purely based on SPR, I was skeptical.
SPR is not bullshit.
It turns out it's not bullshit.
It is not bullshit. And you know what? A couple of guys like Cale Harrell and Justin Duke,
great examples.
nobody would have picked them up unless you went through and looked at all their stats, right? And checked out their SPR. And there were a couple of guys that increased their SPR incredibly over the weekend, specifically Zoe Gann.
Oh, yeah?
Dude.
Well, she probably doesn't. She plays majority ACL.
Is that right?
Yes.
10-point gain or something like that.
Yeah.
She's sitting at the mid-80s right now. I mean, and that's what happens.
But that's how quickly, you know?
Yeah.
You beat those top guys, you move up quicker.
Yeah, so I'm a champion. I just need to kind of bask
And this
in that
also
kind of
proves,
glory.
by the way, that titles do not matter, right? It's all about how good you are on the boards.
Yeah, and
there are ACL pros that didn't make the top 10, didn't make tier 1.
Nobody's a lock.
No one's a
I
lock.
think I remember you saying that.
Nobody's a lock. Welcome to Texas Cornhole.
Nobody's a lock. Yeah, man, I kind of want to talk about this more. Sammy Soto, if it wasn't for Sammy Soto, you would have been smoked. You wouldn't. It wouldn't have been close.
Okay.
Because you got
that's
bonus
the thing.
points.
I got double points off of Justin and Sammy.
You called that placement correctly.
Yeah.
By the way, you
shout out Sammy. Double dip.
Yeah.
We see you. You know, you don't got to have the fancy title. You just got to put bags in the hole, and that's what
right.
he did.
That's what he did. He played really, really well. I watched that one remotely, and, man, he was playing great. And, yeah, so you called that. If it wasn't for that call, then it would have been a total blowout.
Thank you, Sammy.
Yeah, way to go, Sammy. You know, the other thing to point out, I did write more down because I could talk about this the entire episode, about how Team Jonathan won.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, because it's a cornhole competition that I beat you at.
Yeah. You'll play game?
We could play a game after this.
Oh, okay. All right.
Well, it is league night, and it's league championship, so you're carrying me tonight. 13 out of 20. So there's 20 total spots to fill, and I got 13 of them filled, right? So I had to pick 2 sets of 10,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
13 made my list, right? Which I think is pretty impressive, versus your 9.
Uh-huh.
So less than half of the guys you picked actually made the list.
Yeah, awesome.
Also, the reactions I thought were really interesting. You know, walking around the SIG series, people had some negative things to say to me. I was offered bets, like cash money bets. I did not take any bets on them. I would have won the money. Didn't do that. But then also guys like a couple specific ones were really good. Chase Lester came up to me, and I had to explain to him, look, man, I was going to make a tier 2 joke on your behalf. You're going to, at your expense, I mean. But, I thought it'd be funny to say, yeah, you're the tier 2 champ because he won tier 2 and SIG.
Right.
The previous SIG 3. I know he's won a couple of other tier 2s, and he came up to me and he was like, I haven't lost a singles rounders match yet. Like, there's no way I'm not going to be a lock for tier 1.
I love that some of these guys took it as motivation.
Exactly.
'Cause that's what it should be.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, in the grand scheme of things, it does not matter how good you can throw a cornhole bag in the hole.
Yeah.
But to go grab those pieces of motivation and apply it to your game and better yourself off of it is huge. And that's what this is all about, right?
Yep, and he hit 5th place tier 1, and they were in tier 2, right? I thought they were.
No, they finished in tier 1 doubles. I know they're in my pod.
Yeah, they made it tier 1.
And they beat me.
I thought that they made it a little farther than they did. But anyway, I just want to give Chase Lester a shout out.
I beat Chase, though. Let that be noted.
Thanks for being so cool about not being on my list. Another one, Ernest Monarca, is like, are you kidding me? I've been in the top 10 like pretty much every SIG.
Joke at his expense. He went 0-2 in the bracket. See you, buddy.
But that was singles.
In doubles.
Yeah, doubles.
Fourth?
They made a run. Yeah.
Fourth?
Yeah.
Him and Jeremy Beeson. That was big time. That was big time.
And, they were one of my favorites, but their SPRs weren't high enough to make my bracket. But I was really happy to see those two make it so far.
Yeah, that was big time.
Ernest Monarca, just another one, talks to me about it, and just gives me the information that I might have overlooked. And his big smiles, we're having a good time. They're not taking it so seriously. Like, cornhole is just a game,
It's
people.
just a game.
We're hanging out with friends, having fun.
And especially in TCL, it's all about fun and shit talking. And knowing it's all a joke. It's all a joke.
We're just trying to have a good time.
We're just a big D and a center over here having a good time.
That's right. Yeah, man, Oscar Morena, should have had him in my doubles. I should have let my emotions pick a little bit more because he just keeps showing up every single
I played
tournament.
him in singles, and he played really well. He makes that Maryland work. He
does.
does, and he hits airmails too. He's getting good.
Yeah, he's one to watch out for sure. All right, man. So, what do we want to do now? We want to go through and call out the victors.
Let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and give the people their flowers.
Team Jonathan victorious, and I will win again.
We can move on from that.
But we're going to be doing it again. So don't remember this time. I'm the defending champ when it comes to the list for our next.
All right, you won the
tournament.
list, but I won the blind draw. So getting it going. Me and Josh Dalton won the upper blind draw. There's 2 separate brackets. It was single elimination. And then bracket winners had to play against each other on the main court in the championship. It was not on stream, or else I would show you my mad airmail skills.
Yeah,
okay?
You're just crushing them?
Crushing them. Matt Morse knows. Speaking of Matt Morse, he got second place.
Jeez.
Him and Chris Hopp got second, and then the rest was like tied for third because they didn't win their bracket. Women's singles, Zoe Gann, all right? She came in #1 ranked women's player in Arkansas. She threw phenomenal. She threw loan sharks, which are illegal bags, by the way. Fun note. They are illegal bags. Whoever gave her those bags, shame on you, because anyone could have called her out at any point in time.
They didn't have a stamp on them?
No, they had a stamp, but the loan shark, or no, not the loan shark, I'm sorry. Chad always called them the sharky or the shark or whatever. It was the linen on top, Reynolds slow side. It's
she
a
was
Reynolds
throwing
bag.
those?
She was throwing those.
Huh.
She won with those. But again, they are illegal. Not her fault. She had no knowledge of this.
Were they
She was just
phased out?
borrowing a
Why are
bag.
they
They're
illegal?
phased out.
They're
Correct.
phased
It's
out.
like along with the sheriff, the PA, like those bags, they got phased out.
And nobody called her out?
No, because no one knew.
Nobody knew.
And honestly, that bag.
It's
Credit
hard.
to her, because that bag ain't all that.
That's funny. You know, JD Thompson got called out in league because he was throwing sheriffs.
His league.
C4, his own league.
His own league.
Yeah.
Caitlin Allhouse got second, and shout out to my girl Haley Davidson got third.
Let's go, Haley.
Then Trish Trejo with the 4th place finish, and Becky Bryant and Delaney with the tied for 5th.
Oh, Becky Bryant and Delaney, they both play here tonight.
Yes.
We'll see them tonight.
Yes.
Right. Awesome. Good job, girls.
Seniors, Kirk Savage. That doesn't surprise me. Every time I see that guy throw, he's money. He is money. So Kirk Savage won it all. Greg Parra, who kind of got dethroned because he's always making deep runs in
good job,
seniors.
Greg. Super awesome dude. He's always fun to talk to.
Right. Eddie Gonzalez and got third, and Donnie Greer with a 4th place finish.
Awesome. Good job, guys.
And now let's move on to the main brackets. Let's go. We're just going to go social tier 1. We're going to go ahead and name it out. This is for singles. Peyton Matoska. Probably butchered your name. I'm so sorry. I will get it right eventually. Peyton won. Then competitive tier 1, we had Trey Rodriguez. And then advanced tier 1, we had Carson Hawkins, who threw awesome. He played Tyler Vasquez in the championship in advanced tier 1.
He swept. He got doubles too, I believe, in advance.
Yes. He threw phenomenal all weekend.
He's really good. He's one to watch out for sure. And wearing one of our sponsors' T-shirts, by the way.
I'm realizing now that I might have butchered. I definitely butchered that. Okay, so Ryder Miller actually won social tier 1. He double dipped. Billie Jean Bean won competitive tier 3. I didn't mean to say that. Sorry. This list is a little confusing. I just got sent a screenshot. And we'd like to say that I think the only one in advanced or open to get a double dip was... No, Cahill got the double dip too. So Cahill won tier 2 open singles, and Sammy Soto got the double dip on JBJ and the main bracket in open singles. Big. Justin Burton Jr. goes into that king seat, goes into it, has won every single sig this year, and hasn't lost a game.
That's what I've heard. Didn't lose a singles game.
Hasn't lost a single singles game. Loses 2 games in a row to not sweep all the sigs.
Yeah.
See ya.
Yeah, man. I mean, he was kind of walking on water for a little bit, and Sammy showed up. He struggled a bit. Justin did. I mean, for him struggling, it's still like a 10 PPR and just playing amazing, but he was not the You walk on water. He is him. Cornhole Jesus.
He looked more human than he ever had. And, we have clips and proof of it. A blocker made him uncomfortable this past weekend.
A little bit.
It did. And he's been playing hole for hole with a ton of people. But when the hole seems a little smaller and that blocker seems a little bigger, you run into issues.
I think he just had a bad weekend. I mean, you've been in this position where your primary source of income is cornhole. And you're playing cornhole 6 to 7 days a week. At what point do you just kind of have a little bit of a, man, my arm's starting to hurt? I mean, I know he's young.
No, there's no way the arm is the problem. There's no way. I don't want to hear any of that.
Repetitive motions?
If you want to say anything, I do agree that sometimes you want to sit back and relax and not worry about getting first place. Like, you don't want all the pressure.
Right.
But when you want that title, you want cornhole to be your living, you want this to be your future, you better get used to the pressure. Because it's going to be on you all the time. Even if you go to a little random draw at some local event, you better throw your ass off because everyone's going to let you hear about it if you don't.
Right. And, I just think it was a little bit refreshing, to be honest. And we've had Justin on the show. Great guy. Super nice. He was nice enough to come in and interview with us. And he seems like a nice kid, right?
He is.
And he is. And, but I'm saying that because it was kind of nice. Like, okay, Justin didn't come in and win everything again.
Right.
Because he's been winning everything so often.
Well, you go from winning everything to you didn't win one thing.
Well, but he was still like the points leader. I think that he made more TCL points coming out of this SIG than anybody else.
Oh, I mean, yes.
Third place
Player
doubles,
of the
second
year.
place. Yeah, so
Player of the year, sure. I'm saying he didn't win anything this past weekend.
He also, I would say, based on the TCL points, maybe he got more money than anybody else.
Probably.
Yeah. So there's things he did well. I mean, but the fact that he wasn't first place in anything over the weekend, it was a little bit refreshing. I'm going to go ahead and say that out loud. Nothing against the guy. It's just, dude, you've been winning everything. Like, it's nice that somebody else is able to get in there and get it done.
Well, especially since this is TCL. It's not a pro league. It's nice to not see an ACL pro win it all.
Right.
That's part of it. That's a part of the puzzle here.
Hey, that's a good point to make. There were a lot of pros in the field. And I don't think any of them got first place. Right? Because doubles were the two kids from Tennessee. Which, let's talk about that for a second. We mentioned it with Chad. Right, but the two people from Tennessee came down here and took the big doubles trophy, the big open doubles, the big event, right? The Saturday night big throwdown. Some out of towners came in and got it, even though we did learn that Cannon is from Texas, right? So that kind of counts. But man, people are coming in from out of town to come win this championship, to come win a Texas Cornhole League Signature Series.
What I will say is, they threw awesome.
Yeah.
They really did. And they're super nice. Like, if you're going to have out-of-towners come and win it, those are the kind of people you want to.
Oh, good point.
Because they're just awesome people. A smile on their face all the time. They're having fun and they're playing cornhole.
Right. Instead of like a Trey Birchfield and, another ACL pro shows up.
Right.
Right. These are two younger people. I'm going to call them kids.
Yes.
I think Cannon is 16. I'm not sure how old Zoe is.
Probably around the same age.
Yeah. But, two kids that love cornhole. And got one hell of an experience.
Yes.
Right? They'll remember this for the rest of their lives.
Forever.
For sure. And they might come back and repeat. I wouldn't be surprised.
Relax there.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Everybody's played them once. Everybody knows what they're about now, so I expect it to be a little different next go around.
Yeah, and as a person who's born and raised in Texas, lived here my whole life, I definitely want, our Texas folks to step it up and not let this happen again.
Right.
Right. All right, what are we talking about now, Grant?
Well, let's move on to doubles, huh? Doubles social tier 1. We had your guys.
Yeah. PJ and his
Big
dad.
D.
Yeah. Yeah, that's, another thing that's great about cornhole. You can come out and play with your dad, right? And go win a tournament. And they did.
They'll have that forever.
They have memories made forever. And they were having such a good time too. Like they were having a good time all day long. I got to talk to him a little bit. And watch out, PJ's figured it out. So, he's going to be blocking and flopping and rolling just like all those other dang kids. And he loves the game, so
he's coming.
He'll be winning competitive and advanced here soon enough.
Competitive tier 1, Haley Coffey and Landon Villa.
Oh, Haley and Landon, really? I know those two. I haven't looked at these results yet.
Yep, they won tier 1 competitive.
Uh-huh.
They threw great. They threw against some guys throwing lust bags from Boss Hog area.
Okay.
And, They just were feeling it. I don't think they lost the game the entire day. I think I heard that. I don't think they lost the game all day.
I believe it. Both of those can throw fire.
Yes.
I believe it. And they were in competitive, is that right?
Yes, competitive tier 1.
Cool.
And then welcome to open, by the way. Or advanced. I'm sorry, I forget. I get so excited.
Advanced.
Okay, so then we have advanced tier 1. We have Zane and Carson.
Well, Zane is Haley's. Is that Zane who?
Zane Thompson. It's Ty Thompson's little brother.
Oh, okay.
And then Carson Hawkins.
Don't know him.
Well, you do now.
Fit to find out.
Yeah, you do now. He threw great. Zane threw great. It was good to see them win. You know, younger kids again. You're seeing some youth. You are seeing some youth.
Well, I mean, no worries, no job, no wife.
Right.
No
now
husband.
let me add, welcome to open.
Oh, that was advanced?
Yes. Then we'll go to open tier 2. Nico and Greg.
Our boys.
Nico and Greg Parra. They got it done.
Like father, like son. All the way out from West Texas.
Yep. Good win, guys. Good win. And then we have Cannon and Zoe who won the open main.
Yeah. And they were throwing, I believe, gamblers, a slick bag.
They were doing that with, they were just whole, right?
Well, the board conditions were sticky. And that's a topic of conversation that we could jump into right now. When you go to a big tournament, talk to me about bag loadout. I mean, people are running around asking for faster bags every single SIG. I swear. That's what I'm seeing, right?
People need to understand that when you go to these big events, the boards are going to get sticky every single time. And you're going to be tired every single time. So you got to have a little bit quicker of an option. A little bit quicker, or at least a newer set of whatever it is you're throwing.
A newer set. Yeah, because you can switch out the exact same bag for one that's been in your bag that you haven't handled that much, and it's going to be faster.
Right.
When you play with them throughout the day, you've been holding them, they get slower.
Yes, especially holding your bags. I learned that. So I was throwing my lusts and singles, and after rounders and a few games, I got hand sweat. It is what it is. And my bags got slow by the end of it, so I got a newer set of whiteout lusts, and they moved a little bit better for me. I was able to get to the hole a little bit easier. I would definitely have 2 sets of your favorite bag, and one set that you beat in, and one set that you kind of keep fresh.
Yep. And then I would say, in addition to that, if you're going to carry more, some faster bags.
Yes.
Right? Something that is you're comfortable with, you've thrown it, practiced with it.
Shout out Clyde.
Yeah, maybe a Clyde, yeah. But maybe have, even 2 sets of faster bags, because I swear I see it more often than not when people just need a bag they're comfortable with that's faster than their favorite bag.
Right.
But yeah, they were throwing gamblers, and I know Zoe, when I talked to her maybe on Thursday night, she said her favorite bag is like a 4.8 or a 4.7.
Right, I had the same conversation with her, and she actually told Haley that she enjoyed playing Haley because Haley played the dirty board game, and that's the game she likes to play. She wants to play dirty board.
Yeah.
So it is surprising seeing them throw gamblers, and they pretty much went for the hole the whole time.
Well,
and
wins.
the big part of it was them being able to execute pushes. If you're not going to execute pushes with fast bags, you're in trouble.
Yeah, and if anybody listens to this show, well, no, I know people listen to this show from outside of Texas. The Gambler is basically a pro sniper, if you're wondering what that bag is. So they had a fast, slick bag out there, and let's see, the other team was Josh and Noah. And were they throwing lusts? Lusts? Okay, so they were throwing kind of a traditional carpet bag.
Which both of them usually throw greeds, and they were throwing lusts instead because it gives them a little bit more speed.
Yeah.
And, they were throwing them.
Yeah.
Noah was hitting huge rolls, Murdoch hitting huge cuts, but Murdoch's an air mailer. He can do all the tricks, but at the end of the day, he knows how to find the back of the hole.
Yeah. Well, what are we... in the doubles... Most king seats won, right? And it was in singles where we had a couple upsets, and that was in the open tier 1 and tier 2. We had the
double dips.
The double dip, chocolate chip. I thought that was
where Cahill actually threw a perfect game his first game in the double dip.
Cahill Isom, yeah. I think he made a bag switch. I'm not sure. I didn't watch him in rounders, but he's usually throwing the Bowie, or the buoy, but he made a switch to the Greed Max. And dude, making that bag look amazing. Hitting.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, well, let me say this: as a bag maker, I want you to throw the bag that you think you could win with. If that's a different bag, fine. I, of course, would like you to throw my bags, but I get it. Bag lineup from Big D. I was really trying to make a bag that, bags where people approach the TCL bag store and they have other options, right? Instead of creating kind of the same option. But I think moving forward, the Big D lineup is going to be a lot like other ones, where it's all the bags that people know and are used to. They've got an option with Big D. But I digress. What are we talking about now? How much time do we have left?
We have 4 minutes.
Ooh, 4 minutes, not much time. All right.
So I will say, when we're talking about the bag stuff, it seems when bag makers come out with a more unique bag that doesn't have an immediate comparison, it gets punished by the market because no one wants to be the test dummy. No one wants to try them out. And there's some bags that people miss out on just because they go along with trends.
Well, it's an easy game. And when it comes to bag design, I know I've overthought it a lot. And it doesn't need to be overthought. There's some great proven fabric combinations that are out there. And I think what TCL is going to be doing for the next season is going to be good for, I think, players, right?
One of the biggest things I want to preach to people, it's the archer, not the arrow.
Yeah, that's also true. But you got to be comfortable with the bag. You got to know exactly what it's going to do for you in those situations, or at least have the confidence to do that. Going off on a tangent here, I throw Clyde's in league night, and that bag kind of melts when it lands because it's so damn floppy. And it was cool. I was able to do a little step out, catch a bag that was hanging by the hole, and bring it in.
Hey, I'm undefeated with the Clydes, so I agree.
Yeah, well, that's because the only person who played is me. Yeah. All right, so coming up, we have, of course, the ACL big event this weekend. We'll be talking about that on the next show. And then also we have the big season-ending league championship. And that's going to be all the way out in Shreveport, where you and I will be doing another prediction list. So I'd love to hear what people think about that.
Well, the beautiful part is that you will not be there, so I get to go around and, trip every single pick you have. Like, I'm going to be a menace out there just messing with people.
Well, hey, if you brought it up, so I'm going to brag for a minute. I won't be there because my wife is a Tony-nominated Broadway producer, and I'm going to the Tonys with my wife in New York City.
I am super happy for y'all.
Yeah,
That's going to be one hell of an experience. New York City, you
Yeah.
get to go show out. You mentioned before you're going to get on the Peloton and look your best for those pictures.
I'm trying to shed some pounds. I got to fit into my old fancy outfit. I've got one outfit that's kind of trendy. It's still pretty trendy. But I don't fit into it right now.
One thing that Haley wanted me to drive to you. If next season you don't come back out to SIGs wearing crazy pants, we're going to have issues. You're the crazy pants guy.
Yeah, I did that for a couple of them. You know what the truth is? Those pants ripped. Where the pocket is, every time I would bend down to get the bags, they would tear. So I've got 3 torn pairs of pants.
Well, we're just talking about, losing some weight. So there we go. We got issues solved.
Yeah, speaking of, I'll be on my Peloton watching Kendall Toole, who's going to be in Fort Worth with doing the Super Bowl.
That's how you know her.
Yeah,
okay.
That's how I know.
I have no idea who these people are still.
I didn't watch. Did the last one air? The last Super Bowl?
I don't know, and I don't care.
Because
until they put put Ben Affleck up there, and I might know who's throwing the bag.
But I want to know how Food God did.
Well, you don't know, so probably not too high.
Maybe it's airing. Well, who knows?
Food guy.
I'll try to keep an eye out and keep everybody updated on the Super Bowl. All right, that's it. We're at our 30 minutes. Grant, you want to sign us off?
Well, appreciate everybody for listening. Y'all give this very average show way too much credit. We appreciate everything, and I want everybody to remember it's just a game. See you next time.
I'm good.
All right, and we are back with the Texas Cornhole Show. My name is Grant Upchurch. We have our co-host, Jonathan Zarzinski, and we have our Mr. 12 Podium Potion Interview of the Week with Chad Jacobson. Chad, how are you doing?
Doing great, guys. Doing well. How y'all doing?
The man, the myth, the legend. I'm doing great. It's a rainy Wednesday. We have league championship tonight, and I get to play with Grant Upchurch.
Oh, wow. You're going to get to ride the coattails this time.
Now that I think about this, the last time I won an AB league was with Brandon Greger, and you know who got second place?
I don't want to talk about it.
Oh,
Mr. Grant Upchurch. Yeah.
You did. Yeah, you won that one. So y'all got your league championship tonight here at AJ's.
That's right.
That is awesome.
AJ Sports.
That is awesome. Well, thank y'all for having me on here. Been looking forward to this. Y'all been doing a great job, so I appreciate it.
Absolutely. So you got to walk around the venue at AJ's here a little bit. What do you think? A lot of progress, huh?
Dude, it's awesome. I've been in here a few times now. Each time it kind of continues to evolve, upgrade. You got charging stations now behind for people on their courts. You got seats up, more seating, store coming. You got a bunch of things that y'all keep on evolving and growing, and it's a highlight to the game, to the sport, that you're not just setting up in a parking lot somewhere and playing. You actually got venues that are really growing and promoting the game and doing it.
Well, you're getting Cornhole exclusive venues now, which we wanted to cover back some history real quick.
Yeah.
I know people have heard this story before, but starting out, TCL, 12 years ago?
Yeah, 12 years ago. It was back in 2009, and really what you just hit on, and we'll kind of focus on that, is venues that are cornhole specific. And what I mean by that is the fact that we ran a tournament just for fun in my backyard. And then the next time we were going to run it was wintertime. You couldn't do that in Texas because you don't know great weather, bad weather. And so we went to this bar, and in the back they had this big warehouse, kind of like AJ's back here, where it was not being utilized enough for the venue of what it was. And so we went in there and cleaned it all out and made it a cornhole-specific arena. And start off, with, 10 courts back in there and kind of doing it. What was cool about the idea is that the owner of Mule Bar, Dake, and I still to this day have a handshake agreement on the back area. And since 2009, we just shook on it. He said, hey, listen, you do this, I do this, we'll take care of it. And Mule Barn was one of the places that kind of kicked off TCL. So when you talk about the past, that was it. And then, through the years, just like you have in NFL stadiums or Major League stadiums kind of get outdated. And, the Mule Barn went through that time period to where, it was looking not as good in the back as some of the newer venues that were coming out that were specific for cornhole of what they were doing. You've got bar owners now that are reaching out to regional directors. Hey, how big should I make a space for cornhole and those different things? And that's the cool aspect of doing it. And so we went through renovations at Mule Barn, and it's totally there. But, going back to AJ's and all this stuff like that, it's beautiful to see regional directors and players work with business owners, and business owners really seeing the investment in making cornhole specific arenas.
Right.
Another one that comes to mind is Tin Cup.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right? That barbecue joint and a bar that has a building that's specific for cornhole.
Yes.
And the tournaments out there are great.
So what I would really like to see come back? When I started playing cornhole, I heard all about, the Mule Barn, that's where it all started. That's where a lot of these people made their names, yada, yada, yada. And I always wanted to go there. I went there, and the coolest part about it was you having the banners up of all the years, the state champions, the women champions, everything. I would think it'd be really cool to bring that back specifically for state, banners of all the winners, and having that going around the arena or something, that kind of vibe, pay homage to the history that is TCL, because people don't realize 12 years is a long time. You've been doing this for a very long time, and look where we're at now.
Yeah, no, and you talk about it. So, when we started the banners, it was awesome because, we had a Player of the Year banner, a women's champion singles, women's doubles, men's singles, men's doubles. So we had 5 banners that we were really getting. Now, what's kind of cool with all the different divisions, all the different winners, all the different things, you're probably talking about 50, 60 banners. So it's something that I definitely want to do, and I don't want to – we love the different divisions, and that's something that learning from softball, nobody plays traveling softball A softball. You have literally a handful of A softball players in the state of Texas. You have quite a bit of B, quite a bit of C, a lot more D's and all of that. So when we're talking banners, we probably need to do one banner that has everybody for that year of doing it instead of an individual banner, but the ability for that player, if they wanted one for their house, to have a player-specific banner made of doing it, because when you start talking about 50 banners going up in the rafters, it's quite a bit. And so one thing that we're actually going to change at Mule Barn is we're only hanging banners up from Fort Worth region players that have won stuff. Okay,
so still, I think at your state events, you got to show it. You got to make it mean something. Because as of right now, what does winning conference or state mean? It doesn't. It doesn't earn me points. It doesn't earn me extra money. It doesn't really earn me anything. So let me get my name on that banner.
And as a newer player, I never really understood the difference. To me, state. People call it state, but it's the league championship.
It's the league championship because
it just seems like a big SIG. It's just another SIG.
It is another SIG, but it is your championship where you kind of come together, and it is the person that wins it. It is in the record books, and so it's something that we got to start showing that record book, and it's
make it
mean
make it mean more.
Make it mean more. I like that, and it's something that I think that putting that out there and start having, as you create this Cornhole Hall of Fame or stuff like that, which I think is needed in Texas, a Texas Cornhole Hall of Fame that doesn't just talk about TCL. It's all aspects of Cornhole, whether you're an ACL player, TCL player, ACO, all the different ones, or you don't play. If you are specific and you've kind of done it, it would be a kind of a cool thing to kind of have.
Right. So going from your first couple Signature Series, how many people were you really bringing in for those?
Yeah, so your first years, you went from one division, okay? Your first tournament we ever had was 182 players. It was 91 teams, and it was actually 81 teams, 162 players, sorry. And then, you went to where you started having very quickly an upper and a lower division. You had open and you had social, and you were getting a lot more people wanting to play, but typically around 120 in each division, so around 240 roughly, for those first couple of years that you were doing it. Your main regions that you had back in the day were Fort Worth region, you had East Dallas, you had C4C in Mansfield, you had Alamo City Cornhole out of San Antonio. Those are your four biggest ones that really kind of kick-started the true four regions from those groups. And so then it kind of started spreading. But, you used to travel for regionals. We would travel to San Antonio to play. We would all go to Dallas. We'd all just get in your vans and kind of go. And now that we have a lot more regions out there, it allows people to play up and around their area, and you kind of pick and choose of that stuff. But around 200-something players.
Have you looked at a Scoreholio map at all?
Yeah, and we're looking to actually put that map of kind of doing a bunch of
because
stuff.
It's nuts when you look at it how much Scoreholio is going on in this area.
There's a ton. There's a ton of Cornholio, a ton of things, and being and with Scoreholio, it's they are brilliant guys of what they do. It's learning the aspect of cornhole some that that we kind of go back and forth on a lot of different things, but there is, and Scoreholio has made it great and easy to run events.
It's helped TCL evolve. There's no doubt in that.
It has helped us evolve to be more efficient in what we do as far as being able to project, maximize our courts and the experience for players of number of games versus saying, hey, we might need to limit the number of games because we don't know how long it's going to take. With their calculators, it's funny. Ben came out with this calculator for Scoreholio. And then, I went in and did my spreadsheet stuff, which I love to do, and went in and made this whole, I call it the Bible for cornhole events. And we literally run the event off the Bible. And it is done to where we know exactly how many players, exactly this, so we can run, how to maneuver, how to do it to give each player the rough time that we can kind of set all that stuff up of doing it.
So 162 players at your first original core events. Mm-hmm. What is that looking like now? Your most recent Signature Series, what was that looking like?
Yeah, so go ahead.
I was going to say that was SIG 4 in Irving.
SIG 4 in Irving, one of my favorite venues. What's kind of cool about Irving is how we got to Irving. We originally went to Shreveport. We were asked to go to Shreveport and all this stuff like that. And when we were out in Shreveport, the GM for Irving that used to actually opened up Shreveport saw us there and said, I got to get you guys to Irving. And, going by Irving, back in the day when we started this back in 2009, and, when that venue got built out at the Irving Convention Center there in Las Colinas, I was like, man, it'd be so cool to be there one day. Like, it would be awesome. I used to drive by there going out to Sunnyvale, going out to Forney and see Jason, and all this stuff like that. And I'd be like, that'd be great. And so we're actually there. But in Irving, our goal as we started, we actually evolved to where we do events on Thursday nights, the kickoff events. I actually love the kickoff events. I think it's a great way for players that want to get in to come and play early when they make their drive in, so that they're got an extra night at the hotel, but it's worth it for them. It's to be able to do it. So our kickoff event nights are roughly around 500 to 600 players is what we like to have at the kickoff event nights. People getting in town, people kind of doing it.
And this is your senior singles, women's singles, blind draw. Is this Thursday night?
Yeah, it's Thursday night, but we rotate our Thursday night events. I don't know if you've really kind of seen that.
There's been some crew cups mixed in.
So every event we kind of mix and match. There's co-eds that we've done. There's crew cups. There's random draws. There's
sometimes it's women's singles. Sometimes it's women's doubles.
Yeah.
Got it.
And so we like to, do different varieties so that people get to try things out on Thursday night and play with people different than they aren't going to hopefully play with it next day or through the weekend. And so roughly we like to have around 500 or so players on Friday is our singles. And, and the reason why we chose to do singles on Friday is because of work. Sometimes people can take off, sometimes people can't. So if you did it as teams and you had an 8 to 5 where you could get off, my 8 to 5 wouldn't allow me. It's tough for us ever to play, and so by doing it singles, it's up to the individual whether their schedule allows it or not.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And the Friday night singles finishing matches, you used to have all of your finals on Saturday night. Mm-hmm. I think the switch to Friday night was great.
It was.
What do you think?
Me personally, there's something about having all the championships on Saturday night. Is it a long night? Absolutely. Is it the most fun? Absolutely, because you get the fans of everybody coming down there, and they're watching all the games, and then they're sitting there and waiting for the best players to play. It's electric.
Well,
absolutely electric.
As a player, did you ever have a problem where you're throwing hot on Friday, and then Saturday?
I did not care. I wanted more eyes on me. I don't care if it's Friday. I don't care if it's Saturday. Whatever has the most eyes is when I want to play.
Yeah, and so speaking to your point of whether I was hot or cold, you mean in basketball right now we're going for game 5. So they were hot in game 4. They're going to be hot in game 5. I don't know. As an athlete, you've got to learn to play the next one and kind of doing it as your bracket kind of portrays.
I know. I like it. It's a challenge.
Let's look at March Madness.
Yeah.
I mean, you were great at the Final Four and the semifinal on Saturday night, but on Monday night in the championship game, what are you going to do? I mean, they play different nights. You have to get up to go play your game. And for me as an athlete, it didn't matter. You put me on the court, you put me win, it's go time, it's my deal. I'm not going to, there's sometimes I'm hotter, and I would like to, I was in a rhythm, I'd like to do it, but hey, that's the game. I won that game on that rhythm, and the next one I've got to get myself ready to go.
Well, so, as a fan watching it, I like them split up because it's hard to really pay attention to all those high-quality matches there's so much going on, and if you have the doubles and singles on the same night, it's just so much. I think splitting it up, I like it more, personally.
We finally made a decision to split up because, one, we'd heard that, but also the other deal was the amount of players. Whenever we were able to do it, we were able to actually get more doubles teams in by splitting it because we could go a little bit longer, which allowed us to allow more people to play and less chances of people missing out on registration.
Okay.
And that's kind of our deal of monitoring the registration, and people don't really understand that. Sometimes they sell out way too fast, and we go to venues. Some venues have 100 courts we can set up. Some have 105. Some have 110. Some have 125, and 120. And it's tough because our expenses don't really change a whole lot, based on the number of players. And so if we say, okay, we're going to grow it and we're going to go this next venue, like what happened when we tried to go out to Fort Worth Convention Center and Dallas, you run into a bigger fish of stuff like that going in, less of negotiating beer prices, less of negotiating stuff.
So they just dictate terms? They give you...
It dictate, and it's there. And but finding those communities like a Lubbock, like a Mesquite, like a Shreveport, like an Irving, that really they want you there, allows us to be able to have stuff that highlights our players of doing it. One of my favorite venues to go back in the day was Abilene, because they always did a newscast, and I could take people over there to go get interviewed. I remember taking Stuart Foster, and I was like, I didn't tell him until about 30 minutes before, and I knew I was going to take him. And Stuart, being as loud as he was, man, he was a little nervous getting ready to talk on the TV, and it was a cool deal. I think you went with me.
College Station, you kind of put me in front of the camera and said, "Go ahead and do it." There you go. I didn't get any help. It was just go do it. And I did it, and it's a cool experience. It's fun.
It is, and it's great. And so those markets, you're allowed to do it. And so, but Cornhole there, you're talking about the players. And so on singles night, we'd like to have, anywhere from 800 to 1,000 players in singles. And then doubles, we like to have, around 1,300 to 1,500 players.
That's a lot of players.
It's a ton of players. And really that's cool about it. And I know we have not perfected the tiers, but we're getting ready after this league championship to release the first new tier ranking that we're going with from this company that really is going to evaluate on about it's 12 to 14 different variables we're going to look at versus just your PPR. And we've actually been comparing it and kind of seeing where we want to weight things or move things and stuff like that for the last month. Month and a half, we've been doing this. And what's kind of cool about it is seeing where it's kind of moving, where it's kind of changing, and seeing those tiers. But, you're starting already to see to where the social is not the biggest division anymore. And that is awesome.
Is that right?
How large is y'all's waiting list for these events?
It depends on the venue, depends on where it's at, and depends on the time of the year and stuff like that going. And so one thing we'll hit on when we hit on Ryan Hodo, how you doing, buddy? One thing that we will hit on when we talk about the league championship here in a second is, the stuff. But the last Irving tournament, filled out, you had 256 singles players, okay, in social.
In social, okay.
You had 320 in competitive. You had 256 in advanced, and you had a little over 100 in open.
So what that tells me is people are showing up to Texas Cornhole events and then are sticking around, right? Because they got bumped,
yeah,
and they're continuing to play and continuing to compete. So they're not just showing up, getting beat, and leaving.
No, and it's that bell curve. And really, what I want to see is I want to see even less people in social, more people in competitive, and even more in advanced. I'd love to see advanced and competitive have 640 of your 1,000 players. And then your open and your social have the other halves.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You know what I mean? Where your two biggest divisions are your two middle divisions of where you
Does it look like a bell curve?
It's starting to look that way, and that's kind of the goal of it, to doing it, you know what I mean? So one thing when we talk about the tier rankings, I'll hit on this briefly as you're talking about the future possibly later, is when we get to tier rankings of doing it, it is, do we do it just off, if you are this number, if you earn this, are you a B? Or if you earn this, you're an A? Or do you say, out of all your rankings and all your categories, and we put it in a spreadsheet, is the top 5% an A?
Top 5% of what? Of that number that you have?
Of all the players that you have ranked.
Yeah, I think the second one makes more sense to me.
So it's kind of there, and so we're arguing back and forth of how we kind of usually solve our things, of variables of how you're doing it. How do you weight the people that are on your ranking deal but really don't play anymore? Do those count or not versus your bell curve of what you're kind of doing? So it's kind of one of those things that also, as a player, I want to know if I earn this, I get to be this. But the flip side of that is, do people try and sandbag to stay right under that number so they can stay down?
Well, don't
versus
publish
if it's
it.
a percentage, then it's there.
Well, what's the point of me being in the top 5% is my immediate response. Because that's the problem right now for me when I talk to people about tier rankings is I'm moving up, and it's almost like a punishment because I can play with less people. I'm almost like kept out of events because they don't want the talent to really be there. I'm seeing some like PPR cap tournaments, which I think is cool.
Not a bad idea.
It's not a bad
PPR
idea.
Caps.
It should be an SPR.
How many have you played in?
No, and the reason why I hate them is because a PPR is like your free throw percentage. It's like saying, okay, hey, we're going to play 2-on-2 basketball, and I'm going to pick the two best free throw percentage shooters, or two best, or this free throw percentage and this free throw guy.
That's a pretty good analogy.
All PPR is your free throw percentage. It is not how you play the game. And someone that loves strategy like you know what I mean?
It helps a guy like me. I'm for the PPR tournament.
I know, because you dirty the board, but you can throw the 12s. But ideally, you like to be in an 8.5 to a low 9 PPR. Is really where Grant Upchurch wants to be. He didn't want to be shooting 10s, 11s, because in a straight washing, you want to make that person have to think. And I loved y'all's video. I can't remember if it was just posted on Centers. I think it was Centers, where it was when Josh Murdoch looked over at Justin
tune
Bird.
in.
And it was a really cool moment to where, you know what, I made you have to think about this.
Well, to me, that's the ultimate. This is TCL. It's all right. I'm playing against the number one player in the world. I'm a Texas Cornhole League OG, and I put a block in front of him, and what'd he do?
Yeah.
What'd he do? We ain't got to talk about it, but Josh looked over, let him hear about it, and whatever happened, right?
Yeah.
That's Texas Cornhole League.
We're going to be doing some video breakdowns later, and that's video breakdown
That's
number
video
one.
right now. Okay. So speaking of, can I send you a video back from 2016? When I beat Murdoch in
Please do.
in the state championship.
I will send
and I got to leave my hand just floating up there, doing
Do you have the
breakdown.
video?
Oh, I have the video.
They drop it in the
Slow
Google Drive.
motion, you know what I mean? It's all right there. It's
Drop it
great.
in the
You know what I mean?
Google Drive.
Hey, back in the day, man, I'm like that. old has-been player now.
We will put it.
It's
We'll
past.
be watching it right now as we're
Right
talking.
now,
The
yeah.
people on the YouTube
Yeah.
channel will
Yeah.
be watching
Man,
you beat Josh Murdoch.
Phenomenal games this weekend of all the stuff, and so that's really, guys, where we kind of see the current aspect of the events is really using the calculator to make sure that we can, one, maximize the court usage, two, maximize the experience for the players, because I always tell people, listen, yes, there's $60,000 payout, but it shouldn't be about that necessarily. It's about your experience of being able to play. When you go to a golf course, is a golf course going to pay you if you shoot a hole in one? Or did you have a good time playing with your buddies and you're able to do it? So what at the end of the day, what we want to do is have the experience of the player. They get to walk up to the court and play X number of games, and they get a value for their dollar of doing it. And the money is there, but it's spread out based on the division.
TCL is all about the experience, and every person that comes in and plays in TCL, they typically walk away and say, that was one hell of an experience. So speaking of experience, going into league championship,
Yeah.
what anything new coming? Any vibe coming? What's the plan?
Yeah, and so league championship this year will be in Shreveport. We're excited to be back. It's one of my favorite venues going there because it is attached. The hotel's attached. To the venue, great atmosphere. Everyone tends to kind of go to this one bar afterwards, the Sandbar, and hang out and do all
Shreveport, by the way, it's going to be monster.
It feels like TCL takes over the town of Shreveport.
We do, and it's great, And so, league championship, guys, is like a signature series. You don't have to have qualified to play in the league championship.
Okay, I didn't know that.
You are able to go sign up and play like it is a signature series, but I like your point of being able to crown the people even more of doing it to where they are that state champion of Tier 1.
Well, to me, it's like you can win as many signature series as you want to. It's all about who can walk away and say, I'm a league champion. I'm back-to-back league champ. That's a title,
That is the deal. And so speaking of and asking your opinion on this, would you do a banner for Tier 1 only? Would you do a banner for Tier 1,
only
Tier 2?
open Tier 1, and sorry, everybody else.
Yeah, that's how it is.
I'll never get my name on a banner, and that's just life. You can't make everybody happy.
You got to make it important for the guy. Dude, you're at the top,
Yep.
and that means
so
something.
you're saying that only the open tiers, we display those banners at the event, is what you like to see. And then you as a player, if you did win a different tier, whether it's advanced, competitive, Tier 2, Tier 3, you could order a banner. We can get you a banner done.
Sure.
That would be done.
And you have your
could
you have
display
your
because
plaque.
You got your cool plaque.
You got your cool plaque, and the plaques have gotten great. Hey, Canadian Woodwork has done a fabulous job.
They've been awesome
with those new plaques of doing it, and the ability, of all those things, and the other plaques. Man, I love the hardware.
Now I got to ask you a question. Speaking of the hardware, if you're first place, you get the big one, the big, nice, fancy one.
Yep.
And in our open doubles division, we had 2 people come down from Tennessee and take the big doubles trophies home with them. How do you feel about that?
It's one of those things that Cannon Hatcher started playing TCL a long time ago. He's one of those kids that didn't just show up. He has worked his way up from a good player. They're actually from Texas. They moved to Tennessee. So they reached out ahead of time and said, listen, man, we are longtime Texas residents. We love Texas. We like the experience, Cannon is starting with Cornhole. We'd like to travel and get him going. So this has started where he's been playing for multiple seasons with TCL.
Yeah, I played him this year, Shreveport Advanced.
Yeah.
And he beat the snot out.
Yeah, he's been growing up and doing it. It's one of those things that, ultimately, as you look to the future, you want to have this elite division of doing it to where I would love to have 64 singles of elite players and 32 teams that where during the day on the center courts is all that you got to sit down and watch was the best of the best play from all over of seeing it and kind of where it's going of doing those things. So it's one of those things that, it was a testament to Cannon. I'm proud for him of being able to do it.
And Zoe.
And Zoe, she threw she threw lights out. You know what I mean? It's one of those things that, the Texas players threw well too.
I think it was great. And moving forward, the Texas players have something to work for. I don't like it when somebody comes out of town. The great people, but they came from out of town and took the big trophy home, and I don't like that. But we're running out of time.
So
let's
let
talk
me
about.
ask this real quick though. As far as expansion goes, getting some more elbow room. what's the plan? Are we over the next couple seasons? Are we planning on getting more regions? Are we planning on going to the Houstons, the San Antonios? Like, are we planning on stretching out a little more?
Galveston, Corpus Christi.
Yeah, so I mean, what we decided, a few years ago, whenever we started doing everything, was we decided to stay on 20, going east and west. We saw the growth heading that way, and so we followed Highway 20, heading towards Shreveport, heading out to Abilene, and then kind of branching out from there. Now that we've got those, it is the time to go north of the Red River. It is time to head some south. By doing that, we'd like to end up seeing to where we have 5 to 6 Signature Series a year versus 4, and kind of do that to where you don't necessarily have to go to all 6. You can go to 4, and it's more strategic.
I like that a lot.
To where if you're in East Texas, maybe you don't have to go out to West Texas. If you're in the South, maybe you don't have to go to Oklahoma. If you're in the North, maybe you don't have to go to Houston, where you kind of can gravitate towards the 4 closest ones of doing it. So, yes, we are wanting to kind of go that way.
All right, well, we're running out of time here, so let me add, interested in being a regional director in TCL in a brand new area, email TCL, get a hold of them. Nothing wrong with expansion. And Chad, you got the mic. Go ahead, finish us off.
Well, guys, first off, again, thank you for having me out here.
You're welcome.
What you guys are doing is really, really cool with Cornhole. What you guys have done with Center and Big D is awesome as well. One of my favorite bags is actually the Maryland bag. I love to throw that bag.
Yeah.
That y'all both kind of make and everything. So it's really pretty cool. A couple things, guys, that we have going on. We got the league championship coming up. We also have the Tournament of Champions. Tournament Champions is kind of a baby out there that kind of has taken a little bit longer to get the information out. But it is coming here the end of June at Choctaw Casino. It is for anybody that won any style tournament this year in TCL. You'll have the ability to play. What it'll be is there'll be 5 sessions of events. Okay, there will be a Monday night, a Tuesday, or actually it's 4 sessions. 2 on Monday, 2 on Tuesday, and you'll get to pick to play in 4 different events. It doesn't matter if you qualify for doubles, singles, whatever it is. That's the way it'll be done. So you better be at Choctaw for the Tournament Champions. And then going into next year, guys, we're going to continue to grow, do what we got, and love to see you guys on the court and continue to see you throwing the bags.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to meet with us. You guys got a lot of good information out there, and I hope we have you on again.
Absolutely. Love to.
Yeah, thanks, Chad.
All right. See you.
Easy enough, right?
All right, it's recording whenever you're ready.
We are here with the Bag Daddy's Cornhole Challenge. I got Chad Jacobson here. Chad, how are you feeling today?
Feel great.
Feel great?
Yeah.
Well, I hope you're feeling real great, because in 60 seconds, you're going to have to make 2 air mills over our obstacle, and then make 2 slide shots off of the board in front of it into the hole of the board behind it. You ready?
I'm ready. Let's go.
Let's get it going.
Let's do it.
3, 2, 1, go. 1. Start hot early. Oh. Get there. 2, slide. On the record-setting pace. Oh, that's 1 more. Almost. 30 seconds. It's moving. That counts. I don't care. We got 1 more. 1 more. Come on, you got 10 seconds. You gotta make 1. Woo. Time's up. Oh. You made the air mills quicker than anybody.
My slide game does suck.
The airmail game.
The airmail game is awesome.
The number 1 player in the world.
Can we just have done that? Like, get rid of the freaking slides? That's what I can't do.
Dude, that one was sitting slick side right here, and he just
Kept on
worked it.
going?